Okay, this is an update of my planted aquarium. I've had a few weeks pass since the last update. I'm going to really try to go over some things in detail here. Not too long ago I got a bunch of plants in the mail, all free, and so far they're doing pretty well. I'm happy with the results. The light seems to be doing really well for everything. The CO2 DIY setup that I have going on hidden back there seems to be working really well. If anybody knows what this big green plant here in the middle is, I would love to know. I can't remember what it's called, but I basically have this red Ludwigia plant in the background, which is growing really nice. I haven't had to prune it back or pinch anything off yet. So far it's still doing really well. A lot of really good growth. In front of it, the green Kabamba is also doing really well. I've probably had to prune off maybe 3 or 4 inches off of each stalk so far, because I'm trying to keep that at a lower height to serve as like a mid-ground plant. And most of the things up here in the front are new plants that I've gotten. There's this stuff right here, which I think is going to grow pretty tall, but for now I'm just putting it here in the front so I can keep an eye on it. That's a new kind of moss I've never worked with before, but I hope it'll do well in that driftwood. There's some Java fern right there in the center, which is doing really well. Here's my driftwood with some Java moss on it, again, also right there in the center. It's a little bit dirty, I need to trim it back some. A crypt, a couple of green crypts right there underneath the pleco. Let's see, moving over here we have the Anubis, which I've probably had this plant for 2 years, and it's been a struggle to keep it going the whole time. It's never looked very healthy, but as you can see right now it looks great, and all of this is really just because of the CO2 that I added about a month ago. I'm so happy with the results of that. I also have some more Java fern right behind that Anubis, and just a couple more plants, mostly new ones over here on the side. This grass-like plant, which I've heard can be kind of hard to grow, but as you can see it's already got quite a few new roots coming out of it. So I think it's going to do pretty well. So this is my tank right now. The way it looks, I just did about a 30% water change just a few minutes ago, so the water's a little bit cloudier than it usually is. I'm going to kick on the light here and we'll go over some of the details of my setup. Alright, so now that I have a light turned on, let's take a look at some of the details of the tank. This is the Aqua Clear filter that I have. I can't remember what model number it is, but it can filter up to, I believe, 300 gallons per hour, which is probably a little bit more than I need for a 29-gallon tank. So I usually keep it on the low flow setting with this pushed over to the right, and that seems to do more than enough filtration for what I need. I am still going to post a video of how I painted the back of this aquarium. I painted it a black color, which I think works out pretty nicely. I'm happy with it. The only problem is there's a little part of the filter that's been kind of poking and rubbing against the back of the aquarium. You probably can't see it too well at all, but it's actually already made a little hole through the paint, so I need to touch that up and figure out a way to keep that from happening again. Going down here underneath, nothing really special. I have some extra sand that I haven't put in the tank yet. Food, shrimp pellets, bloodworms, some flakes, an extra bag of the Biomax inserts for the filter, and of course my DIY setup from a 2-liter Coke bottle, and a little container of some sugar there for making more if I need to, which I will in a few days. Everything is plugged into a power strip, the light's plugged into a timer, and everything's plugged into a GFI outlet that I installed. Alright, the last little bit of information I'm going to share is the products that I use in my tank. I have this fluoropride fertilizer, which I don't use very often. I'm still kind of getting used to it. Before I added the CO2 to my setup, I had a lot of problems with algae, probably because I had a lot of light and no CO2. So anytime I added this liquid fertilizer, I noticed that I got a major algae bloom. So I've only started using that again recently. So far I haven't had any real problems with algae, so I'm going to keep using it just little amounts when I do water changes. This Flourish Excel basically adds an organic source of carbon to the tank. I've been told that you can get away with using just that without using any CO2 gas in the tank. I'm not sure if I believe that, because I use that stuff on a very regular basis for quite a while before I added my CO2 setup, and I definitely had nowhere near the results that I'm getting now with just a cheap 2-liter bottle and some yeast and sugar water in it. Plus this stuff, the Flourish Excel, is pretty expensive. I think I pay about $7 or $8 per bottle of it, and if you use it as directed, you'll go through it pretty quick. This stuff, this crystal clear, I only really use that if I have really dirty water, which now that my tank has been cycled and the sand has settled, it's not really an issue anymore. And this little tiny yellow bottle is Genesis for taking chlorine out of the tap water. So that's all I have to share for right now. I'll keep posting updates. I really like getting feedback from people, so if you have any suggestions, thoughts, ideas, I'd be feel free to share those in the comments. I'm always open to suggestions. And I'd like to really thank everybody at the Aquascaping World website. There's a great forum on there with a lot of great people who have a lot of experience, and I've gained a lot of knowledge and really enjoyed having some conversations with some of the people on that website. People participate from all over the world, so if you need to learn more about plants or aquariums in general, the Aquascaping World website is a pretty good resource to go to. So like I said, if you have any questions, comments, let me know. I'll keep posting more updates, and like I said, the next video that I put up, I promise, will be the video of how I painted the back of the aquarium, which was a really nice way to get a pretty consistent and hopefully a durable background. So thanks for checking.